different Bianca. The sexual terror lions are roaring into my ears as I make my way between their cages at the Bertram Mills Circus in England in 1957 when I'm 20. The terrible lions have roared for 6 months, and though I don't know it, they'll roar for 6 more, then be extinguished, leaving only their irksome echo the rest of my life. A circus. I'm traveling with a circus, an exotic thing to think, and I have a Bianca. Not the Bianca Bruno Schultz had in his spring, an enchanting Bianca, whom one, quote, would notice how with every step light as a dancer she enters her being, unquote. A Bianca, rather, who's lush, ardent, and though only 18, more amorously advanced than I am, with breasts too beautiful to remember, and that other thing further down she'll bring with her every day to my digs to roll with me on my bed while I flail in despair and return with her back through that savage alley, that gauntlet of error and terror, to the caravan where her father and mother lived and where we ate dinner together. Bianca's father was a clown. Not the way I was a clown, a sexual clown. Not the way Schultz depicts himself in his drawings as almost a clown with his rack of compulsions. Bianca's father's a real clown, famous, with different names in different countries, who in the ring in his chaplain-esque costume is hilarious, reckless, contagiously joyful. Yet Bianca's father, like me, is possessed by a terror, though no one dares frame it that way. Bianca's mother, you see, has claustrophobia, a terrible case, and it was agreed that for her to sleep in their cramped trailer would be painful, insupportable really. So Bianca's beautiful mother, lusher even than Bianca, and so young seen from here, younger than my daughter now, would kiss her impassive pipe-smoking husband and leave in the car that came every night to take her to the circus owner's yacht. And we remnants, we relics, would gloomily sit. Bianca, because soon she'd have to go back to her job as a nightclub dancer, and the husband for obvious reasons, and me, part of the act now, with my rituals of desire and my dread of the lions I'd pass again as I wend the tortuous route to my room to wait for Bianca's next visit tomorrow, with her breasts and that other thing which I hardly could bring myself in those days to call by its name. So fearsome it was, as it was for the tragic and timid Schultz, who even in his erotic etchings of perfectly formed nudes with Schultz-like men, abjected, groveling, crushed, dejected under their elegant feet, depicts no vaginas, or none not submerged in inkiest shadow, save one, and that sketchy, inconsequential, which surely proves that Schultz knew the firmament of vagina is fathomless, without measureless dimensions, altering such shape as it does have with impatience, but for which Schultz's Bianca, who, quote, controlled her glamour with pity, unquote, and whose wisdom was, quote, full of sadness, unquote, must by now offer demure consolation, while mine, my Bianca, struts with top hat and whip across the arena to take her bow. 100 Bones. This poem takes place in Newark. I grew up in Newark, and I have a number of Newark poems. It has an epigraph from Basho. It's part of a wonderful paragraph that Basho writes about being a poet. And this is a clip from it. In this mortal frame of mine, which consists of 100 bones and 9 orifices, there is something, and this something can be called, for lack of a better name, a wind-swept spirit. It's Basho. 100 bones. And thus the 100 bones of my body, plus various apertures, plus that thing I don't know yet to call spirit, are all quake with joyous awe at the shriek of the fighter planes that from their base at Port Newark swoop in their practice runs so low over our building that the walls tremble. Wildcats, they're called, thunderbolts or corsairs, and they're practicing strafing, which in war means your machine guns are going like mad as you dive down on the enemy soldiers and other bad people, nips, krauts, trying to run out from under your wings, your bullet pops leaping after their feet. It's a new word for us, strafing. We learn others too, blockbusters for instance, which means bombs that smash down your whole block. Not our block, some Nick block or Nazi, some gray block in the newsreel. B-24 is the number of my favorite bomber, the Liberator, my best fighter, Lightning. The other kind of lightning once crashed on an eave of our building, and my mother cried out and swept me up in her arms. The war is here, she must have thought. The war has found me. All her life, I think she was thinking, the war is here. The war has found me. Some words we don't know yet. Gas chamber, napalm. Children our age in 1944 say my friend Arnold and I, who are discussing how we'll torture our treacherous enemy friends who've gone off to a ball game without us. They're like enemies, Japs or Nazis, so of course torture. Do children of all places and times speak so passionately and knowledgeably about torture? Our imaginations are small, though, Arnold's and mine. Tear out their nails, burn their eyes, drive icicles in their ears so there's no evidence of your having done it, except they're dead. Then it was Arnold who died. He was a doctor out west. He'd learned to fly Piper Cubs and flew out to help Navajo women have babies. He'd become a good man. Then he was dead. But right now, victory, V-Day, clouds like giant ice creams over the evil Japanese empire. Cities are burning. Some Japanese cities aren't even there. The war is here. The war has found me. Japanese poets come later. We don't know we need them until they're already buffing the lens. Basho, Issa, Buson, especially Basho. Ah, that wind-swept spirit, ah, that hardly there frog. Atom bomb, though. Basho, a shadow burned into asphalt. House torn by mad burning wind. Poets in coats of straw, burning. What is our flaw, we human beings? What is our error? Spikes in your tushy, ice in your brain. That frog invisibly waiting forever to make its leap.